Hi, I'll pick up where I left off in the last video from the chapter on the Mordent in Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach's Versuch über die wahre Art, das Klavier zu spielen. Damit man nach einer kurzen Note die nötigen Finger zum Mordenten gleich und frei habe, so nimmt man zuweilen eine besondere Fingersetzung vor. Figur 76. Diese Applikatur erfordert ein mäßiges Tempo und rechtfertigt sich aus der kurzen Abfertigung der punktierten Noten. Vermöge welcher, nach eingesetztem vierten Finger, der Daumen und der zweite Finger zur Ausübung des Mordenten gleich bereit da sein müssen. Man hat bei der langen Note mit dem dritten Finger Zeit genug, die Hand um ein weniges nach der rechten Seite zu rücken. Wenn diese Passage ohne Punkte oder in geschwinder Zeitmaße vorkommt, alsdann bleibt man bei der gewöhnlichen Ordnung der Finger. Incidentally, if Kissin were to record Opus 101, I would bet that it will be in length, close to 20 minutes, and that he as well will repeat the mistakes of others. It'll be no different than anybody else is doing. What he might do is make some like small superficial, cosmetic change to it, just to make it look like he's not copying off his neighbor. But that's what'll happen. You're gonna get from him the 20-minute incorrect interpretation. One can see how the practice Bach describes apply for both bars of the example. Shifting the hand after the third finger. The method of shifting the hand is employed similarly with AC fingering. With AC fingering, I think what Bach says is fairly, even though the German is difficult, or how the sentences or construction were quite difficult, what he's saying is rather self-explanatory. So I'm going to talk about AC fingering. With AC fingering, the fourth finger will not be used on a white key. Instead, 3 or 5 would be used on the B, depending on if one feels the need to shift or not. Because with AC fingering in that situation, the second finger will be free to play the D sharp either way. So whether you shift or not, the second finger will be free to play the D sharp. And there could be many reasons. There could be more than one reason why you shift, and the reason won't be if you can, so that you can play it or not. It can have expressive reasons, or when you're looking for the best possible result. you can decide a shift provides that best possible result, the best possible sound, the best possible shaping. But with AC fingering, it's a fingering system, so you're free to use the formula in any way. You know, it's only, your only limits are your imagination. As long as you stay true to the formula, you'll be fine. The same would go for the C in the next bar, and AC fingering is evolution. What you're looking at, you know, somebody said AC fingering looks crazy. What you're looking at is the future. Is the Renaissance. The same would go for the C in the next bar. 3 or 5 would be used with AC fingering. Nor would 3 be used on the G sharp. 1 would be deciding between 2 and 4 with AC fingering. So you're not going to use the third finger on the G sharp. In that situation, you'll use either the second finger or the fourth finger on the G sharp with AC fingering, because those are the two fingers that play black notes the best. The third finger is not as good as the second or fourth finger when it comes to playing black notes. The third finger is best at playing white keys. In the first bar, the shift might not be needed with AC fingering, but in the second it would be needed, because if the tempo were quicker and there were no dots, as Bach said, and one were to use 5, 3, 2 and 1 on the E, A, C and E of that bar, then the second finger would be forced to switch in a very short space of time between a white and black key, which is that unknown cause of tension that plagues piano players everywhere and has them doing for weeks and months on end, in vain, all sorts of exercises and slow repetitions to try and avoid or eliminate or reduce that dreaded tension. How does one fill a bucket with water that has a hole in the bottom of it? One doesn't regulate the flow of water, one fixes the hole. The Roll of Honor wouldn't say that though. They tell you to just keep filling water into the bucket. They don't know. And I'm the only person to actually reveal, because I'm the one who discovered it, to reveal the cause of tension. And that video has gotten 0 reaction. But what does it do? How many weeks, months and years of your life have you spent playing with the metronome, trying to escape tension, trying to get rid of tension? And how many, after all those years, will still sit down to a piece like, any piece by Beethoven and still not be able to get through it without tensing up? And that's because you're trying to combat a problem to which you've no idea what the cause of the problem is. So you can lock yourself. It's like in a cartoon, you'll see the cartoon character locking all the bolts in the door and putting all sorts of barriers into the door, and the sort of the enemy they're running away from, the villain, is standing right behind them. And that's what you're doing with all your slow repetition, all this clinical, you think you're isolating it, but the cause of tension is sitting there happy as Larry, knowing that as soon as you try to play the piece again up to speed, or that he's there, he's the cause of tension is sitting on a deck chair while you're trying to get rid of it. That's how unfazed. It's not worried that it's going to be eradicated or removed at all. Verdorbene Schüler in Stein. de Roll of Honor Teil with der Gedanken, das Steife mit. So if it was me, who doesn't want to experience even the slightest hint of tension ever, and who never does experience the slightest hint of tension, I'd shift the hand or leave out the mordent. And you can look at the pieces I upload and try to spot even the slightest hint of tension. And you know how you spot that? You listen to the notes, you listen to the length of the notes, you listen to how they're performed, you listen to the pulse, to the rhythm, you listen to the ending of each note, you listen to the voice leading, you listen to the soprano, the bass and the inner voices. You listen to the phrase, you listen to the articulation. Did I say that? You notice the interpretation, you notice the overall, the greater structure of the performance. You listen for the connections. And then you ask yourself, was there any hint of tension? Okay, so that was they were paragraphs 9 to 12, and in the next batch of videos I'll be finishing the chapter on the Mordent. It goes up to paragraph 15, and I'll be finishing that. And when I get, as a warning, when I get to paragraph 14, I will be once more, this will be the last paragraph. You know, they cited various paragraphs to support what they say in their introduction, and this is the last one they cited. And so I'll be going back to that, and because I will be showing how Bach in that paragraph 14 actually clarifies his stance on the proud trill that has been criticized by Bärenreiter. So if Bärenreiter had been able to understand what Bach is saying, if they had taken the care to read the text that they, in all their glory, cited in their, you know, with the total oblivious that it makes them, I'll get into it, but it's not just the performance of a bad professor they are displaying there, it's the performance of a bad student. They had all the chance to understand, oh yeah, that's what Bach meant when he said 4. Yeah, we're idiots. Bach gave not chance, he explains it, so and to remove a shadow of a doubt And this is what's waiting for them now in the upcoming paragraph 14. An utter and absolute humiliation. Who's spotting that? Yeah, so, yeah, and then that'll be another chapter covered. So, that's it. Thanks. Bye. There's a question you could, I'll explain later, I won't give an answer, but you could ask your professor, a Roll of Honour professor, if you wanted. I probably shouldn't, because you won't be doing yourself any favours. But you can ask them what they notice between figure 75E and figure 76. And in there is an element that is continuously present in the music of Bach or Mozart or Beethoven that has never been spotted by the Roll of Honour. So maybe you think, I don't know what I'm talking about, and all the Roll of Honour champions will know exactly what I'm talking about. So you could ask, what do they notice when they look at figure 75E and figure 76? And see what insights they can come up with. Or you can protect them. You can protect them and save them from any uncomfortableness. Give them your money. Let them, What are they going to do with you? Ask Bach what they are going to do with you. That is the Stockholm Syndrome.